Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things autism and special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now your hosts, Navah and Matt Asner.
Help if I turned on our camera.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Hey, have to take over your job.
You're going to have to take over my job.
I might have to.
Good afternoon. Good evening. And good day.
It looks like we're in Sherwood Forest.
It does. We're a very special show today. We have the amazing directors and producers of In a Different Key. And it's really special. And we can't wait to talk to you about it and tell you about it. But first, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah?
How
you doing okay?
God. Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
How are you, Maddie?
I'm good. You know, I got to tell you something. I was looking around on the internet the other day, and I actually decided that I was going to get you a gift. So I bought you a gift.
After 10 years, you're getting me a gift? It's a miracle.
It's a good one. You're going to love it.
So happy.
It was actually spurred by a post that you had on the Facebook.
On the Facebook?
Yeah.
Is it a surprise, or would you
it's
rather
a surprise.
do it publicly in front of everyone?
No, it's a surprise.
Okay.
It's a surprise. It should be here in a couple days, though. So
just like a for no reason present?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I'll do a video of you getting the present. So
all your fans can. I knew it somehow had to go back to his fans.
No, it's not my fans. It's
Okay.
about your fans.
Well, I am very excited for our show today because it was created by two people who I love and admire. And I just, was blown away by this movie. And I know that it's a very controversial statement to say that I thought this was the best movie documentary about autism I've ever seen. And I stand by that because it was something that I can relate to, being that it was Caren's story, a mother's story, but it was so beautiful. And it also was historical. We learned, a layperson is going to watch this movie and be really intrigued by some of the beginnings of autism and autism research that I, as an autistic parent, as a parent of 3 autistic sons, I didn't know a lot of this stuff. And it was just really, really entertaining and fascinating and heart-wrenching and wonderful.
Well, I'll even add to that. And I agree with you. I think it's the best film on autism I've ever seen. And we're going to tell you how you can watch it in a bit and all that. John and Caren are going to come on and they're going to tell us how to view it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been winning all these awards at festivals, and for good reason. It's a film that covers all of the bases in terms of autism. So, a lot of times you'll have a film that comes out and you'll have a group of people say, oh yeah, it's a good film, but it doesn't show this, it doesn't show that, it doesn't show that side, it doesn't show this side. This film is really all encompassing. It really shows the different forms of autism, the different sides of autism. And it really informs the viewer on, it makes you feel that your story is not the only story if you have a horse in this race. And that's an amazing thing that does. It actually makes you feel like that your story is not the only story. And it makes you feel unalone, which is a very special thing indeed. So do we have Chelsea coming on?
I think we're going to go right to John, actually.
We're going to go right to John?
Yeah.
All right.
We want to get into the meat of it. Hi, Caroline. Let's just say hi to Caroline.
We're going to say hi to Caroline.
And my brother Moses, all the way from Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha. I wish I was with you, as I say 100 times a day.
All right.
I wish I was in Hawaii.
Well, we were going to have Chelsea Darnell. Obviously, she has movie chat every Saturday night.
And actually, they have a really fun movie this week.
Okay, so what is the movie this week?
It's the updated version of The Muppet Show that our cousin Nina did all the hair for Amy Adams and
Jason Segel.
And Eddie and I actually got to go to the Disney studios and see the
Really?
the cast and crew.
That was neat.
segment.
How old was Eddie when you did that?
Little, and actually it was Eddie was Wolf, so I'm getting that wrong. It was
Oh, it
Wolf.
was Wolf. You know, I have a great
But it
story.
was, I always interchange the kids. Kids can become, one kid can easily become another kid when you have as many as we do.
I went to see Sesame Street live once,
Mhm.
and I knew someone in the cast, so I brought Adam Seligman, and my friend Adam Seligman. So I brought his little niece. She was like 3 or 4 at the time, and we got to go backstage. So we went backstage, and she was so excited. She's gonna meet
That
her
would be
idol.
fun.
Her idol is Big Bird. She's gonna meet Big Bird. She is thrilled. She's excited. She's jazzed.
Mhm.
And we walk backstage, and she looks up and sees Big Bird hanging from the rafters.
And then,
and I mean, as
and
dead
that
as can
starts
be,
the childhood trauma that
As-
Matt Asner inflicted.
as dead as can be, and she started crying.
Yeah.
And it was a big.
And she never stopped crying, I'm sure.
I think I probably ruined her life with that. I don't know, but it was something else. So funny story, funny Muppet story. So we have. Should we do a little poker thing right now, or should we do it later?
Oh, definitely. Let's talk about the poker tournament. I'm so excited about the poker tournament.
Are you really?
Yes, I'm so excited. It's my favorite event.
Well, we have. Is it really?
It's our
Wow.
9th annual.
It's our 9th annual poker tournament's coming up.
June 12th.
June 12th is the date. June 12th, and it's virtual, but it's kind of different. And I'm going to play a little video that kind of shows you what it is. And but you're gonna notice that it's very different from last year. Last year had a very video game vibe, and it's very, very different this year. So I'm going to play a video that kind of tells you a little bit about it, and we'll be back right after that. I'm Matt Asner, and I want to give you a sneak peek of what's in store for you at this year's tournament. It's all new this year. We're using a cutting-edge platform that allows you to see and talk to your celebrity challengers in real time via live streaming right at your table. This virtual poker tournament is truly groundbreaking and the closest you'll get to in-person live table action. It's light years ahead of the video game vibe we had last year. To test it out, we gathered my dad and some friends of the center for a mock game to give you a small taste of what it will be like. Let's check it out. It all begins with a simple link that you click to enter the room that houses the other players at your table. Once everyone arrives, the table will become live and you'll be able to see and speak with the other players. Gameplay is equally as simple. When it's your turn to bet, a countdown circle will appear around your image and you'll be given 20 seconds to decide if you're going to bet, fold, check, raise, or go all in. The coolest thing about this platform is the interactivity. You can actually read the other players' faces as they make their decisions and express your joy or regret depending on how the hand goes. Who knows? You may be the 2021 champion and dethrone Clancy Brown. This will be an incredible night of poker for you, friends, and coworkers, raising much-needed funds for the Ed Asner Family Center. So break out your sunglasses, grab a drink, stack your chips, and let's play some poker. I'll see you at the tables. There you go.
That looked like fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going
Yeah.
to be a lot of fun. So basically, you're going to be at the table with whoever
I
you
heard
want.
that Milo actually creamed everyone.
He creamed me. I had a pair of 10s and a pair of 7s, and he took me.
We might have to
Took me to
give
the
him the
cleaners.
night off so he can beat Clancy Brown.
I don't know. I was thinking of firing him after, but, taking out your boss is
Oh my
kind of a
God,
strange
good
thing
for
to
him.
do on his
Good for him.
not even 2 weeks into his job. He's taking out his boss. I
I
don't
paid
know.
him extra for that.
You did? Okay. All right. So let's. So look, we're gonna bring John in. We're gonna talk to John. I have 2 Johns online here, so I'm gonna bring John in to kind of. John.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I want to do some of that poker.
I know, right?
We'll
That looks
invite you.
I really do, actually. June 10th?
June 12th.
12th, okay. Yeah, I'm going
Yes.
to put that on my calendar.
It's
If
a
I'm
lot of-
allowed. I mean, if I'm allowed. But
Oh, of course you're allowed.
yeah.
Everyone's allowed.
It looks
But
a lot of fun.
last year we had it. It was very different. It was a kind of a video game thing, and it wasn't the way it should have been. It was missing the kind of intimacy, and unfortunately these days you can't go into a room together and get that close. So I think we found a way to kind of bring everyone together and have everyone.
And people like to know who's at their table and see
and they want to talk to them. So
I went to a virtual Christmas party where somebody like mapped out their living room, and then we all got digital versions of the living room. And then if you went to this party, you saw a little stick figure of yourself, but when you got close to another stick figure of another real person, their face would appear on screen as though on camera. And so as you moved in the room, you would get when you got close to somebody, their face, and it could be groups, like 4 people's faces would show up on camera, and then you could chat and then move to another place. But I like it. First of all, I really like poker. I'm terrible at it. I know that's everybody always says, but I feel
I'll make sure that you're at the right table.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to bring Caren in. She just joined us, so I'm going to bring Caren. Well, I sort of have her, but Caren, are you with us?
So, can I just explain Caren's situation right now? If you don't know, Caren likes to live on the edge, and she's traveling today, and she's at an airport changing planes, and
awesome.
And she rented one of those little nap cabins in the middle of the airport so she could chat with you without being interrupted. But she told me a few minutes before we went on that the person in the cabin wasn't leaving yet, and also that the airline took away her laptop and she had to get it back. But Caren always solves it, so she will show up.
Okay, well, I'll keep my eye on.
She told me to start without her, so
I'll keep my eye on her room, and we'll go from there. Okay. But John, I have two of you on.
Yeah, I put as far as I understand how the software works, I can run a video, and I don't know what you had queued up to show for clips.
Oh, wow.
So I sent Milo a clip from the movie, but I've put up what I think is the trailer from the movie, which he may already have. So
I actually have the trailer ready to go. So
then I'm going to get rid of this and take it out. Then.
I didn't know you can actually do that. You just taught me something about.
And I want to hear
how
I can do that virtual living room for some of my moms and dads support groups. Yeah. That would be amazing. Yeah. You'll have to tell me another time, John, how your friends did that. Okay. Caren.
Oh, there she is. Okay, so let's bring Caren in. Caren.
Yay, you made it.
Caren. Hello. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Well, I'll tell you what.
She'll make it. She'll make it.
Well, we're gonna start. So, John, I mean, you heard what we were talking about at the beginning of this show. The film is amazing.
Thank you.
In a different key. You guys have been taking the film festivals by storm, and you've been doing incredibly well. Can you tell us where the film's been and maybe where people can see it? Actually, let's do this first. We're going to show the trailer first, and then we'll come back and we'll start talking about it.
Okay.
So here's the trailer for In a Different Key.
I've always known Don. I don't remember not knowing Don.
We knew that Don was a little different, but what it was, we didn't know.
He is the first person to be ever diagnosed with autism.
At the time, autism wasn't even a word.
I had heard that the first person diagnosed with autism might still be alive and living in this small town in Mississippi.
Good to see you.
Hey, Shelby Welby. Hey, Nat the cat.
Well, hi, Don. Darling.
Hey, Chandler the plant.
Stop resisting. Get the cuffs.
Hey, can I go, please?
I only knew that I was different and that different was bad. You're weird, you're a freak, you're a retard, you're a loser, you're ugly. These were the things that I heard on a daily basis.
Come on, go, go, go.
In my research study, every Black family that I've met with has asked a similar question. How do we keep our children safe? How do we fix this situation so that our children won't die.
Toasty, toasty. Yeah.
Like that.
Autism is a little different. Your brain works a lot differently than most people.
Hello. Hey, Caren. Hello.
Do you get any kind of support from anybody?
Not really. It's just me. Nobody's gonna do what I do.
So you just can't die?
Right. It's gotta be immortal.
Don's got some odd behaviors and some eccentricities, but he's our guy.
I was just so drawn to him and this community. I wanted to figure out, how did they get it right? Because they really did get it right.
Amazing. So
I'm not there.
Caren, can you hear us?
I'm in the show. Everyone can see and hear me.
I'm gonna
call Caren and tell her.
I'm gonna remove her.
Okay.
And then I'll put her in when we can hear her, when she can hear us.
She can hear us.
The high side. I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
I heard her voice though.
But John.
Yeah. Hi.
This story. There's so many stories in this film. And you start really where it all began, which was the first case first known case of autism in the U.S., and that was Don, which was the character that we just saw walking down the street, and amazing character. Tell us a little bit about how you and Caren came up with the film, and really wanted. First of all, it's based on your Pulitzer Prize finalist book of the same name. And why did you decide to make a movie of this?
So can I start with why we decided to write the book? Because it goes into that. So Caren and Caren's son, Mickey, was diagnosed at the age of 3 back in 1997, I think. And at that time, I was a correspondent at ABC News, and Caren was a producer at ABC News. That means I was on camera, she was behind the scenes. And she and I had worked a lot on all kinds of different stories. Once her son was diagnosed in the late 90s, there was really, really little information, and internet connectivity among people in the community didn't exist. And the books that were out there were few and far between, and there was very little research going on, even in the late 90s. And Caren said, I want to use the platform that we have at ABC News to start to inform the public that there's a thing called autism and what the experience of people on the spectrum is. So she went and pitched our bosses on doing stories about autism, starting with a Nightline program. Actually, the truth is, in the beginning, she met a lot of resistance because the people at ABC, who are great people, said, what's autism? Like, what are you talking about? And how big a deal is it? I mean, how many people are really impacted? Is it really going to relate to many people in the audience? But Caren is persistent, which is why I think she will show up here. And she convinced Nightline to do a half hour on the topic and asked me to be, because we had worked together so much, to be her partner in that, on the face and the writer of that. And also my wife's brother is autistic, and he's quite profoundly affected by it. He lives in Israel, where my wife grew up. And so after working for 5 or 6, 7 years doing these stories for ABC, we decided, why don't we look at what happened in the past? Nobody knows about that, including us. So we took 7 years to research the past and write a book. And we wrote the book in between 2010 and 2016 when it came out. And then when the book came out, Caren Zucker, who just showed up because she's so persistent, said, why don't we do a movie? And Caren, the question is, so why did we decide to do a movie after doing the book?
Because we wanted to reach people outside of the autism community. We
Right.
wanted to reach what, I don't know how much I haven't been hearing, but we wanted to reach what John and I call the civilians.
Mm-hmm.
So that they would know and care about autism and understand that it's just not that difficult to have the back of somebody who's different if you just hang out with them a little bit in some ways.
Yeah.
I didn't say hi, so hi everybody.
Hi, Caren. Thank you for joining us.
I've been here for a while. I don't know why.
We could see you, but we couldn't hear you.
So you heard me mumbling to myself.
I think that there's a scene, what Caren just said, there's that beautiful scene where Amy talks about her childhood. And now, I mean, I know Amy personally, and she's such a well-spoken, incredibly inspirational adult, but talking about having that one group of girls include her, how it was life-changing for her to have that one connection and that one moment of kindness. And then you showed that again with the school setting with the young kids. It just totally impacted both of those kids forever on that little moment of kindness.
And that's the thing with the kids. I mean, with the program in Arizona.
Yeah.
If you start young and you just see that we're all alike, and we're all a little different. It's not so hard to make friends with people who aren't exactly like you. And if you start at a really young age, I mean, for us, I feel like the movie wasn't about finding solutions. It was about telling stories. But that one story really is, I think such a huge solution to the problem, which is to start young. If all you ever know is somebody who's not exactly like you, then that's what you know. And you do better with them.
It's also why one of the reasons we decided to tell the story of Donald Triplett, the first diagnosed child. First of all, there's just, oh my gosh, so there is a first diagnosed child. There is a case one. He's around. Let's go meet him. Let's find out how his life turned out. So that was one reason. And the other reason was when we went and met him, and we've known Donald for years now, and we built up long years of trust with each other. When we went to meet him, it turned out that his community has been like the dream situation for acceptance and appreciation and protection, and a little bit of that comes across in the trailer. Just how they've embraced him, and so that story is the happiest story in the movie is Donald's life. But as Caren said, the idea is to say, okay, so it shows it can happen. How do we make it happen in other places?
Well, we have a little scene, I think, that kind of illustrates what you're saying about Don. So I'm going to play that, and then we'll come back and talk about it. This is Don.
He loves to be funny. He'll say, "Hey, Celeste, I'm going to shoot you with a rubber band on Sunday." It's usually not during the service. It's sometimes before the service or after, when the preacher pronounces the benediction. I'll get a little sting, and I'll know what it is.
Did you shoot me with a rubber band?
Yeah, I've already shot you.
I didn't even see you.
It's hard not to love him. I think it's him, not us.
Once you've been around him, it's just difficult to not want to pull for him and root for him. And in a community like Forest, one reaction that Don evoked from the townspeople was that, yeah, Don's got some odd behaviors and some eccentricities, but he's our guy, and we don't want to see anyone take advantage of him or manipulate him or harm him in any way. So
Don is in this town, this small town, and I think I said to you, John, after I watched this, that I want to move. I think I said to both of you, I want to move to a small town. Because he was so nestled in that town, and taken care
and
of,
included in everything, and loved, and
it's that's something that's quite difficult in other places. And
Yeah.
and I like what you said, that we have to learn how to do it in other places. That's so true. And you really, I don't know if you heard this, Caren, but before you came into the show, we were talking about how much Navah and I loved the movie, and how we thought it was the best film on autism that we've seen so far. And I was saying that it's, you take a very difficult story that is proprietary, that everyone who's dealing with autism has their own story, and it's usually a very different story from everyone else. And you take the story of autism and you make it accessible for everyone. And that is a real feat. So congratulations on that.
You couldn't say anything nicer to us, because that's the goal is to sort of touch everybody on the spectrum, and and then the people outside of it. The interesting thing about the clip that you just showed was Celeste in the rubber band scene. Her idea that it wasn't them, it was him.
Yeah.
And in the right setting, I think that sort of is happening to my son where he is right now. Is in the right setting, he's living a good life.
And that's really all we want for our kids, right? We want to give them the ability to make themselves happy. We want them to be happy. We want them to be loved. We want them to be a part of a community.
There's a lot of great things happening in Arizona. A lot of great things happening in Arizona, and California needs to follow suit.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the stories. I mean, you have
Well, there's the polar opposite in Alaska.
Yes.
The polar opposite with the wonderful boy who's just out doing his normal routine, getting the mail, and that horrible. It's almost. I saw it and I was hysterical watching it, and even on the trailer, I can't watch it again because it's so disturbing. But it's so necessary.
It's so painful to watch. I've read it hundreds of times. It still makes
it's so upsetting.
So what we're talking about is a young man in Alaska who was walking around, I think, in his own neighborhood, and someone called the police on him, and the cops came, and some confusion happened, and the cops got rough with him, very rough with him, and maced him, and just an awful situation, awful situation. And a lot of it was caught on video, and a lot of it's in the film. But it's an important story because autism is misunderstood by so many people in the community, and that's why a film like this is important. It happens a lot. That what we're talking about happens a lot, and it's really unfortunate. How did you choose the people that you covered?
Well, I want to say something about that story because John and I tend to differ on this, but I think what he feels is really important, because I'm just horrified by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking for John, even though he's sitting right there.
It's okay. I spoke for you a lot before you showed up, so it's okay.
But he feels that if that cop had been educated, if that
yes,
cop had known, if and there are trainings out there, and we show those in the film, which is why we think this would be a great film for police departments to see as well, because that they don't mean harm to people. I can't really cut that guy a break, but in general, it's the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. I think it's important to point out that what happened in that interaction is that Nick, the young man in Alaska who was brought down to the ground by the cops and pepper sprayed in his eyes, he had not done anything violent, and he was not trying to run away or anything. He just had a hard time answering the officer's question and wouldn't look him in the eye. And the officer took that as suspicious and I guess maybe threatening. I'm now guessing, but he said to the guy, he said to Nick, okay, you're under arrest. And when he touched Nick does not like to be touched. And, he reacted, and the cop read the reaction as resistance. And so now in the cop's perspective, I have a suspicious guy who is resisting me and resisting arrest. It was just total, as somebody in the movie says, a perfect storm of misunderstanding.
Right.
And now you can totally criticize the cop for moving so fast on it.
Yeah.
But there's also just, I kind of think that if he knew that he was dealing with somebody on the spectrum, none of that would have happened. And so,
of course,
and that's what the whole point of the movie is people on the spectrum are if the goal is, and I think everybody agrees, and this is different from what the story in our book is, that 40 or 50 years ago, society did not want people on the spectrum out in society. They wanted them in institutions locked away. We overcame that battle. That's what the book story is about. So now, if the goal is they're going to have people on the spectrum of all degrees of challenge, level of challenge, out in the community, at your workplace, at a restaurant, on the bus, at the ball game, walking down the street, whatever it is, they might be acting a little bit differently, or in some contexts, it sometimes has been called inappropriately. The idea for the movie is to tell everybody, chill out. It's okay. It's somebody with autism. Roll with it. Work with it. Go more than halfway. Try to be a friend. Don't be scared. Don't call the cops. And because if that larger society does not do that, then life doesn't really work for people who have some challenges socially on the spectrum. And that's what the movie is trying to do. So that example with the police officer is like, all of the issues are like focused in those 3 minutes of the movie that are about the danger of misunderstanding.
Well, and I think you both really highlight different moments in life that we all have to worry about. And that's certainly one of them. The other is what does the future hold? What does the future hold without me, without parents, without caretakers? What's going to happen? And you really illustrate that well. And as a parent, that's truly one of the scariest things in the world for to have a child with autism and not know what the future is. And it's this constant struggle to find happiness and to find something that works. And you, on multiple levels, succeed in showing that. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, we thank you for not only for the things you've said, but you've been supportive and are trying to get the movie out there. And I don't know if you remember, but years ago we called you up to say, how does the movie business work? And you kind of gave us a primer on that, and it's been really helpful. So thank you.
Well, I think if anything, just what you said, I don't know if Caren or John said it, but just to have all police officers and have that scene, or have the entirety of the movie, because they really get a sense of all different types of autistic. But to have first responders see that, really in that scene with Nick, if he had just taken a pause, just the pause, because he was flustered. I get flustered. If the cops pull me over, I start sweating. I know I've done something. Everyone gets flustered. Yeah. Well, but it's like if they had just taken a pause, and just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, there was this incident where a kid got shot and he was down on the ground in handcuffs and he was shot. So this has to be really, this movie has to be just, in my opinion, it has to be put out there for this, because it's such a great example, such a clear example in that scene of what not to do.
So let's talk about what's going on, because you guys have been in a lot of film festivals and done very well. You're getting audience awards and you're winning film festivals. So how has that been going so far?
Well, the film festivals are going great, since we've only been in a couple, and we sort of won the audience award and one in the best documentary in the other. But we sort of feel like we got lucky on some level. But we're trying to get the film out. We're trying to get a distributor. We've talked to lots and lots of different people. We're thinking about doing some some licensing, maybe some self-distribution, so that we can actually try to get it into the hands of all the people we think it should be in, as opposed to just giving the film away and not know what happens to it. So we're very, very focused on all the different options right now.
Yeah. So somebody said to us 2 days ago, "This is a beautiful film, but it's a niche film, and that's a challenge in taking it to a general audience." And our response is, "No, that's what it's not. It's not a niche film. It's
not.
It's a film that can speak to. First of all, it's a film that's addressed to anybody. It's not Dear Autism Community, here's your story. It's Dear World, here's our world, and here are some of the people in it, and you're connected to them." And the other thing is that the title of the movie, like the book, is In a Different Key, and it's our view that if you've been the odd man out, the odd woman out in any point in life for any reason, not feeling that you fit in with society, it doesn't have to be because of autism. It could be, I don't know, maybe your social classes and clashes with your surroundings, or maybe it's race or something like that makes you feel that you're not being accepted by the broader community. This speaks to you. This is a universal experience that I think all of us have at some point in life of not knowing that you're not like everybody else, and also not wanting to be like everybody else, essentially, but it causes friction in life. And so we think it should speak to a broad audience at that level too. So it's not a niche film. It's somebody if we don't land a distributor, we're probably going to distribute it ourselves and prove our point.
Well, we've got to talk more about that. So we'll talk offline about that. But look, it's not a niche film. It's a film. It's a film that should and will affect anyone who sees it.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but when you said that just now, so Caren and I had our first ever experience seeing the film in front of a live audience in Oxford, Mississippi, the home of the University of Mississippi. They have a really lovely film festival there. And we applied to that festival because Donald's from Mississippi. So we went to the film festival. Donald comes to the festival and watches.
Oh, great!
His family comes, and it's the first time that we're in with an audience, and people are laughing at the right time, and people are crying at certain points. But the next day, Caren and I are in town. And Oxford's a beautiful town. And people 2 times walk up to her on the street and say, "I was at the film festival. I didn't know anything about autism before. This movie changed my life." One person literally used that language. It's like the dream language. It changed my life because I get it now, and I'm going to just be different.
They literally said they're going to be different because of this film, and we thought, "Oh my, that's why we did it. That's why we did it." It was just, it was it really was like a dream come true to have somebody who wasn't connected to the autism community, but just watched the film.
And they walked up to Caren because Karen's in the movie, by the way. I don't that doesn't come across.
You're in the movie.
I'm in the movie a little bit, but Karen's in the movie a lot.
Karen's really in the movie.
Karen's a star. Come on,
Caren doesn't love being in the movie, but that's
no. You were amazing, and
an important role.
Absolutely. And I love that you had, like I said, Amy Gravino, and you're representing the actual autistics and letting her tell her story and where she's come from and where she is today. I think that's, like Matt said, you're doing the whole range and really having and like this is a historical film. It's like if you're sitting in Netflix and chill or whatever the hell it's called, you want to learn something about the documentary, and it could be anyone. It has nothing to do with wanting being autistic in the community. You're learning so much about a really interesting subject, and it's universal for anyone to.
Well, I would argue any great film. I'm not saying that our film is great.
Yeah,
but
it is great.
Any great film, it's the Octopus movie.
Oh my God!
Solo that won the Oscar last year. I mean, not everybody rock climbs, but it was a beautiful film.
Yes,
actually, that's a great example.
It really is. It really is.
When I saw that, when I saw the description of that film, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll watch that someday. And then I watched it, and it was just so overpoweringly beautiful
Yeah.
that it was, it was just amazing. And this is very much like it's a very important film that people need to watch.
With a beautiful soundtrack, may I say. An incredible soundtrack.
And one of your subjects just wrote, and she says, it will change lives both of people off and on the spectrum. The film deserves to be seen by a wide audience.
I
And
agree.
That's from Amy Gravino, one of the great people in
Yeah,
the film.
so I'm always tooting your horn, Amy, by the way. I'm constantly talking about you.
So
thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thanks for being in the movie.
So, and if you haven't seen Amy Gravino speak, you need
She
to.
is. She's
amazing.
one of my favorites.
So,
Very funny person.
oh yeah, if someone wants to see the film now, is there a way to see it now?
Not really. I mean, it's going to be on a film festival. So you could go to Sedona and see it in Sedona in June.
Is Sedona going to be a virtual, or is it going to be in person?
Sedona's going to be in person, actually.
Wow.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Oh, how awesome.
So, we're in a festival called Real Abilities.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that will be virtual. But if people look on our website, if you go to inadifferentkeythemovie.com, we're going to keep that, updated with what's happening.
Yeah, we're inviting people to leave their email address there, because when we get it truly figured out, if we self-distribute, we're going to put out an email. Here's where you can get a ticket to the movie if we do it ourselves. And I think we're we're weeks away from making a decision about that. I think about doing it ourselves. It's kind of a scary prospect.
It is scary. Well, we should talk offline about that.
Yes,
so
we should talk offline about that.
Yep. Okay. inadifferentkeythemovie.com. And
well,
wow.
we might have to meet Caren in Sedona just for a reason to go to Sedona.
So Sedona.
Oh, come to Sedona.
Great film.
I love
great
Sedona.
film festival.
I love it.
If you've never been there, it's wonderful. The guys that run that are amazing, and you'll have a great time. Are you guys going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey's going to come too.
When is it going to be? When and because we were just talking about the poker tournament, June 12th.
Yeah,
it's a couple of days before poker.
No, it's when is your tournament? The 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The festival is the 12th through the 20th. So.
Oh, okay.
You should.
Well, if it's after the poker tournament, we'll see you there.
And cigarettes and whiskey after that.
All right.
So, but it's a very well run festival. Very, very great people. I had a film there once, and when I was a producer, and it's a great festival. Really nice. You'll have fun. And they treat you
I'd
well.
love to meet Mickey.
Yeah.
I'm dying to meet Mickey.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Have you been to First Place? Because that's.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I was just following the symposium. It was the last 2 days, and Denise is she's incredible. And I'm, God willing, our second center, I'd love it to be near First Place, because it's just, to me, it's just, everything is just, they know how to do it in Scottsdale and Phoenix. It's just, everything is really wonderful. And
just for people who are listening and don't know what we're talking about here, First Place is a residential community in Scottsdale,
Phoenix.
In Phoenix, sorry. And it's a really incredible thing to behold. And if you can go look it up online, firstplace.org, maybe, not sure. Just look up First Place on Google. Look it up. It's amazing. Denise Resnick created and runs it, and
we actually met Matt
astounding.
and we didn't get to go to the bakery, where he makes his, but we were there for the Jewish disability awareness. We did a talk. Oh. And we toured First Place and met Matt and just had a really amazing time.
Well, you should see a dozen or two, young adults with autism making tons of batter for biscotti. It's
well, we've eaten his biscotti.
Yes.
And it's really good. And that's actually one of the things that we send out for gifts when we send out gifts.
Oh.
So, what was that?
I said, of course you do. That's what I would think you would do.
Yeah, of course. So this has been great. We can't thank you enough for joining us today. And the movie is in a different key. And also, by the way, the book is pretty darn good too. So you can pick up a movie. Hopefully you can pick up a movie soon, but you can certainly pick up a book now in a different key. Pulitzer Prize finalist, amazing book. John Donvan, Caren Zucker, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for all the nice things you said.
Karen, for making it happen.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Definitely
not a niche film.
No.
Whoever said
not
that
a
doesn't
niche
know what they're talking about.
It's an important film that everyone should see.
And like I said, even a layperson would watch that movie and be so intrigued by the origination of that first, case number one. It's just riveting to me.
Exactly.
That was such an incredible story.
Exactly.
When is the poker tournament? June 12th. I fought very hard this year, Shannon, so it wouldn't be on my birthday.
June 12th. June 12th.
Every time we have an event, you're like, I know, let's have it on Navah's birthday, so she can't go to Hawaii.
No, but this day, this time it's a few days before. But you brought up something earlier that I thought was funny.
Oh my God.
You said
what? What did I say?
You were saying like
he's lost it.
Netflix and chill and
what does that mean?
It's really funny. It doesn't mean what you think it means.
Really?
No.
Oh. I'm not hip with the scene like you are.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No,
well,
I don't know what that means.
One of those things.
Oh my God, I can't read what this is. When is your birthday?
When?
June 14th,
June
Flag
14th.
Day. Flag Day.
So, is Chelsea going to call in?
Did you send?
Did I what?
It's Friday, everyone. You have to apologize. I mean, you have to apologize. We have to apologize.
So
we're frazzled.
Movie chat.
Parents.
Movie chat this weekend. We talked about Saturday. I believe there's a Sunday movie chat too.
2.0. Caroline would know.
I believe so, and I think they're going to show scenes from a couple of movies. One is Rain Man, and the other one is.
Right.
What was the other one?
It was an autism-centric movie.
Right, and kind of looking at autism in film throughout.
Right,
the decades.
I loved that, and that was for the scene study class on Sunday.
That was for Sunday's scene study class. So basically, what happens is you can just log into the Zoom, and Shannon's just explaining what Netflix and
booty call.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, how embarrassing!
Yeah, I know.
I apologize, John.
So the Sunday movie chat is at 7:00 on Sunday, and you're gonna
and the Muppets is on
Saturday at 7. The Muppets one, you watch the film and then join the
Fly Away Home. Thank you.
Join the group and you can take part in
Forrest Gump. I think Caroline's right.
Oh yeah, Forrest Gump and
you're
Rain
right.
Man, I think
it's Rain Man and Forrest Gump. You're right, Caroline.
So they're going to show scenes on Sunday. They're going to show scenes from Forrest Gump and Rain Man and kind of illustrate different ways that they've depicted autism in film and cinema over the years. And certainly, I don't know if they say autism in Forrest Gump, but it's certainly
I don't think they say it in the whole entire movie.
And it's certainly reminiscent of autism.
I wonder why.
And I gotta say,
never say that.
I gotta say, whenever I watch Forrest Gump, I get really weepy.
Yeah,
because
I've seen you get weepy with Forrest
because
Gump.
it reminds me of Will so much. That character.
He definitely does.
May he have the luck that Forrest Gump has. But
nobody has the luck.
No one has
Forrest
that
Gump.
kind of luck. But
I wanted to just we're almost wrapping up, so I just wanted to talk, if you would let me get a word in.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Navah.
Just that we're reopening this month.
We are,
and so we still have a few programs that I haven't mentioned. And the one I'm really excited about is our music director and our camp ed co-director, Judy Langdon, music therapist extraordinaire, is starting a musical Sundays with Judy called Jamming with Judy. It debuts, the first class is on Sunday, April 25th, I believe. And Milo can confirm that, but it's going to be everything. Every week is going to be another kind of introduction to different instruments and musical songs, and just a really fun jam session with Judy Langdon. And it is every Sunday from 11 to 12. And it's for everyone. It's a wonderful, all-inclusive group. We are going to still keep our classes kind of small. But if you would like more information on this Jamming with Judy class that's starting, reach out to Milo at teafc.org and sign up, because that class is going to get really, really full, really, really fast. We also have our fine art class with Aviva starting again the same day, actually. It starts the same day. So again, Milo at teafc.org for more information about that class, which I think might be at capacity already, because it's usually one of our most popular classes. But you can get on a waiting list, and we will make sure that you are going to be a part of that.
And I'll add this: we have a class that debuted yesterday. It's a virtual class, and it's all about improv and theater games. And I actually joined it yesterday.
You guys were having a blast.
I had so much fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. It's taught by Aretha Sills, who is Paul Sills' daughter, who's like a god in improv, and the granddaughter of Viola Spolin, who's another god in improv. Paul and my dad started the Playwrights Theater together in Chicago, and then
Paul
my dad began in improv and kind of moved on to scripted acting, and Paul continued with improv and really created a world for himself and for others. Created this incredible thing called Story Theater, and which I really want the center to do at some point.
Definitely.
Story Theater, but it's an amazing class. And if you want to join this class, just give Milo an email, milo@teafc.org, and let him know that you want to join. It's by Zoom every Thursday at 4:00.
And it's a free class.
Pacific Standard Time. And if you're in Chicago, or if you're in New York, or if you're in Hawaii.
We have participants out of state.
We have someone in Indiana, someone in Colorado. Join. It's a lot of fun. You'll have a blast. It's a lot of fun. Kick me out of the class because I had a lot of fun.
So much fun though.
You
deserve to have a little fun.
I did. I had a lot of fun. We were like tossing balls.
I know.
And it was just
everyone loves that class, and Aretha is so good.
Theater games are a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. So okay, so that's it. That's it for our show. We join us. Every day we have something going on here virtually. So
have a great weekend every way.
Keep the seatbelts fastened. We'll see you soon.